a lot. You see that? So we're moving along quite well with this dish. Now what we're going to do is you are going to add the liver to this that we've blended up. And just stir it around. And because it's ground up, it's going to cook very, very fast. We have to get salt and pepper, and we're going to be doing that as well. See how fast it? Look at that. Isn't that amazing? So we're going to add salt and pepper. That's my salt. Stir your salt in and then we'll get the pepper. My salt is a mixture of two. Okay, let me turn this way down while I get the pepper. See if I can bring you down a bit so I can move you so I can pound this, grind up my pepper. They don't tell you how much to put in on your salt and pepper. They say to taste. So you're pretty much left on your own again. I keep on saying that, but that's how these recipes are right now that I'm using. So we're going to get these peppercorns. We've already added liver in here. And we can turn this off. Now we have pasta we're going to add into this next. A whole pound of it. I told you a wide pasta. You know, the widest one you can find, and we'll stir this around. This is going to be a bit of a mess. Now they want you to add about a half a cup of pasta water, but I'm adding stock here instead, because that's what I want to add. They say Parmesan cheese goes excellent on this. We've got to mix all this up. No, I'm going to put it in a serving platter, and this is for dinner. As you see, this is a very big meal. You can also sit there, hello, and good morning, everybody. That is the dish. You're seeing it right now. This is it. And that's a lot. I'm going to get a big bowl and put this in, which is down here. Put your hair and turn you down while I pour this in. Oh God. Okay, now with all the meats and everything in here, you've noticed we've added about 3 pounds probably all total. And you know 1 pound is 125 grams. So we're talking about 375 grams of protein in this. So how many people could you feed? We're talking 3, 6, 9, 12 or so. So here it is, all done. I know it took a while because it had to cook, but you could use pasta water, whereas I use the stock. That's a choice you have. I preferred the stock this time. Okay, so let me see. If there's any questions, and that's it. Oh gosh, hold on. No, that's for dinner. It's 8 a.m. It's 8:30 here. Okay, Juan. Okay. Hold on. Chance. Yes, I am from the U.S. Yeah, the dish looks great. Good morning, Vicky. XLI. One. Reesing. Vicky, good morning. Juan, New York City. Okay. Well, that's it. The only thing they recommend is just greater Parmigiano cheese on this. I'm still cleaning up my mess. It was a lot to do. I'm going to get you out from underneath here. So you can see the dish. I hope you try it. Oh. So I'm very proud of the dish, but what am I going to serve with it? I'm thinking about serving butternut squash or maybe cauliflower this time. We haven't had that in a while. So Shane, that is pretty. Vicky from Alabama, good morning. It does. I can't tell you how big it is. This is a lot of protein. So we're talking, let's see, 125, that's 375. I'm estimating at 375, that's a little more. 375 grams of protein, 20 for each. That's 5 for every 100, 5, 10, 15. You could feed about 18 people with this and they would get it. No, this is not stroganoff. This is called Ragu alla Bolognese. It says it makes 6 cups, right? It does not make 6 cups because I know what I put in here and I followed the recipe. So we're talking about 5, 10, 15, 16, 17 people you could feed with this if you have the rest of the meal with it. So this is a big dish. So if you want it just for 2, I would cut it down by fourths unless you like leftovers. Now, if you want to cut it in half, you can make proportions and freeze it in containers in your freezer and have it on hand. We used to do that a lot. Jens, if that's what you want to do, go ahead. Yes, I do have a few gluten-free recipes, and also to make gluten-free pie crust and stuff. I've never made them before, these recipes, so as I come across them, I will definitely let people know this is gluten-free. Like when I make my coffee, I sit there and say, this is a caffeine-free coffee that I'm making. You know, I let you know when I'm doing things like that. Yes, it does, Chance. Rocks. Yeah. So not in this book and in some other books, I have gluten-free bread as well, rolls, I think. Some of the stuff that's in it, I don't know what's in it as preservatives and stuff. Whisker, well, it's been there. I've not been on a YouTube channel. I've only been 2 years and 2 months. I thank everybody for supporting this channel. Thank you, Whisk. Thank you for the gift. Uh, um, let's see. I also have some vegetarian meals that I eat. I'm very versatile in my eating. I eat wild game as well because that came from my parents. And the reason I'm so versatile in a lot of my cooking is because of my mother as well as my husband and his friends. They introduced a lot to me. Oh, I was married, Rox. My husband's dead now. And good morning, Thurman. Uh, so I understand that. You know, people think I'm married. My husband enjoyed my food. He even taught me some dishes, and his friends taught me some dishes. I've had wild boar. I've had venison. I've had quail. What else did they come in? I've had wild rabbit. Uh, I've never had bear. That would be unusual for me to have. What else have we had? Wild turkey we've had. Whatever my father came in with, if you must know. I don't know it any other way. Thank you, the professor, for the bronze medal. That was very kind of you. So those are some of the things. I can't remember everything, but I knew my father hunted and he brought it in and he'd take it to the butcher. But I know when I went hunting with him, it was venison at the time, and my little brother killed a jackrabbit. It's more, jackrabbits don't have a lot of meat on them, and they can jump much further than you realize. Yes, they do. Fox people, rocks, they do eat bear. I have a girlfriend up north who does. Well, I want to try alligator. They say it tastes like chicken. I don't know, so I'm going to try that. Hi, Sharon. So I'm going to be trying that. We had elk recently, which was interesting. Any game meat you have, you better have extra fat to put in it because it's very, very lean. Very lean. Darth, okay. Let me know how it tastes. Well, that's why we have to cook a certain way. Yeah, when I can afford it. I'm still looking for bass fillets. I promised you a recipe last autumn, and I haven't been able to fillet. The bass fillets are real small, and they said I need big ones for this. And I said, well, this is a bit great. I can't find it. It has to be cooked. You don't leave it where raw. But when you cook wild game, because it is very lean, think about how the animal lives. You have to sit there and add fat. You really do. I mean, the venison I got, they sat there and add 3% fat, but I said, oh no, this is too dry. I pulled out a whole pound of pork and mixed it up so I could get what I was looking for. I want to try ostrich hamburgers. All right. Yes, it does, and they call it alligator on a stick. Okay, I've never had that. Okay, Whisker, you could do it like that. Be careful of what's in. Thank you for the what is that? A brush? Okay, a makeup brush. I don't know. Uh, a makeup brush. Thank you. Raccoon meat is great. I've never had raccoon, but I want to try ostrich hamburgers. I just hope I can afford it. I've had elk recently, and it turned out better than I thought. I think we made a meatloaf with it. Did we make a meatloaf with it? I can't remember. Listen, I cook so much, sometimes I get confused on it. Yeah, that's very good, Vicki. Bacon and venison. Now, if I make venison hamburgers, I'm going to put pork with it. I might add some wheat germ to help hold the moisture in. And I would definitely make a bacon cheese venison hamburger. Into our tummies, and sometimes I elk meatloaf. Yeah, it's an unusual taste, but we were playing around with it, my older son and I. Rox, why am I cooking for my family that I have to give to somebody else? Okay? Where I live, everybody gets welfare, then they go to the food banks, and then they go to the churches, and then they go here and they get all this food, and on top of it, now we have a free grocery store for them. No, they want their food, let them go buy it and cook it, or either get a bloody job if you want to eat better meats and cuts, and sit there and get a job. Yeah, that's what they're doing. We've got a free grocery store. I won't go to it. I'm sorry. With this socialist, I'm not happy with. At least I could say he didn't get my vote. That's for dang sure. Hi, Gloria, Vicki. Yes, I cook for my family, and if I have a friend, I'll share my food with my friend who lives close to me, my neighbor. If I try something new, I go, hello, come to the fence. I got something for her to try. And she'll let me know how it is. But I'll share with them, but I'm not sharing. Iraq, you don't have to understand me. Exactly. Are you serious about what? Well, if you're next door, it wouldn't be hard. If we're friends, I could just sit there and go, or call you and say, hello, guess what I got? We got to try this. That's what we do. She shares recipes with me and I share with her. Good morning, General. Jen moves too fast. I can't catch it. Thank you, Vicki. Listen, I'm going to let all of you go. I still got 2 more loads of dishes to do. This meal I never used that much equipment except chopping blocks and cutting boards and stuff like that. But I had my pasta machine out. I had my food processor out. I had my scale out. I had this out. And I said, dang, all this equipment I got to clean. Oh, well, anyway, that's what I do. So if you want to know, this will probably be 2 meals because tomorrow is Friday and I go shopping on Friday and I have chicken livers for me, but I think my sons will finish it up. But they'll want me to pack a lot and they might come back for seconds on this one. Thank you, Whisker. So that's how I feel. People might disagree, but always remember we can disagree because it's our chosen right. But you don't have a right to force something onto somebody unless it's your child and you're raising your child. Yeah, then you got to do that. But other than that, respect them. They might not agree with you, but it gives you a different point of view when you talk with them and you give them a different point of view. And then you weigh it and say, does it work for me or it doesn't? But that's how we're supposed to be as human beings. We're not supposed to be putting each other down or anything else. Nice to meet you, Rox. Okay, Christopher, you're correct. And good morning, Christopher. Yummy. Good morning. Okay. to stick around and watch me do cauliflower, so let me get the cauliflower. Vicki, you're right. Good morning. Hi, Shelley, Yami, Sandra. Yeah, people, you have to learn to, oh, well, this refrigerator, I don't like this new refrigerator. Gives me a problem sometimes. I just bought this cauliflower and you're already mold. You're not supposed to do this. So I'll just cut that part off. This is what I hate. I don't know what's going on with the fruits and vegetables, but they don't even last 7 days. And I remember my mother used to, I gotta get my hair out of my head. Our cauliflower and stuff would last in the refrigerator forever. I mean, it could stay for weeks and weeks and weeks. But I'm noticing the greens and stuff, they don't have the antibiotics that they used to have. No way, I'm going to try not to cut myself, but if I do, I'll be running to the bathroom to get a Band-Aid. What did I have for breakfast? I had a cranberry scone that I made yesterday afternoon at 2 o'clock, and I had it with a glass of milk. That's all I wanted this morning. I woke up 1:30, 2 o'clock hungry this morning. I said, I'm going to bed. You do not rule me. I rule you. I'll eat when I'm ready. So I had that this morning. Not a lot, because I knew what I was making today was going to be a heavy meal. So I knew cutting board, Sandra. I need a cutting board. So I had read this recipe, so I knew it had a lot of protein in it, so I knew that whatever I had for breakfast, it wasn't going to be a lot. And because I eat about 10:30, I don't have to wait. Yes, I am. Yes. Iowa, yes. See, look, this should not be like this. Cauliflowers last for weeks. I just bought this, and it was perfectly white without any problems. And now, less than a week. I went shopping Friday. Today's Thursday. We're talking 7 days. This is the minerals are missing in our nutrients because you can tell because the minerals will keep them fresh for longer in the refrigerator. So see, I have time in 70 some odd years. So see what I mean? This is ridiculous. I don't know what's going on, except that this is definitely a sign of not very many minerals in the ground, or not being absorbed by the plant. That's how they protect themselves. And this was a beautiful head. Race and IQ question. Genetically, which parent contributes? I'm not going to play your game, white girl magic. Sounds like you're looking to sit there and cause problems. You know, I always look at it this way. If you're racist, you're going to come back in another life, the very color you hate, so you can understand. So you can see I'm cutting a lot of this away. I am not happy about this. I am not a happy camper. And the cauliflower hasn't looked good, so I was always careful when I wouldn't buy it for that one reason. This one's really rotten. This one's got to come off. Okay, let's start cutting these off and see what I can get. The leaves I'm going to throw into my vegetable bag to make vegetable stock. And yes, I know I can pull it off the cord. I can cut the center out if I want to. But I'm so unhappy with everything the way it looks. Rotting like that. And this new refrigerator is driving me insane. I wish they made them the way they used to. Yeah, that's the name of it, cauliflower. John, good morning. I've never had it. I have had cauliflower steaks baked. Now those are nice. I found that recipe in one of my cookbooks, but God, now I don't know if I can find it. I spent 2 hours yesterday trying to find the scone recipe. I said, God, where did I put it? I couldn't remember which book it was in. I spent 2 hours doing that. That's the bad thing about having a lot of cookbooks. You can't find what you're looking for after you find it. Omelet, shrimp, grits. Why are you putting, listen, sweet home, Bam. Why are you putting pancakes and grits together? You have 2 starches. You only need 1 starch. I'm not going to add another starch. My starch is the pasta in the dish that we made today. All I have to do is get a vegetable, and the meat sauce is loaded with meat, so I've covered everything that has to be covered. You only need 1 starch per meal. It's a new one, computerized. Like, I really understand what I'm doing. People ask me questions here, and I said, help? Does anybody know what this means? I didn't grow up with that, remember. Okay, I'll break. This one's too large because I got 2 here. Where are you hooked up to? Okay. Still have a lot of cauliflower, but I didn't like that going on. One way we used to have cauliflower when I was growing up is that my mother would put the whole cauliflower after she trimmed the bottom and the greens off. Dallas, Texas, you're in my state. I grew up in Texas. Okay. That really looks cute after I butchered it because it was all messed up. Okay, let's see what I can do with this next. What I'm breaking off are the ones that I cut off. Okay. Let's put these in the bag. That bag is full. It takes 2 bags before I make this stock. I got 1 done. These are nutritious. This is what I do my stock with these leaves. See? And I'll collect these things and cook them all down. Hi, I'll just say Ever. Maggie, thank you. Okay, Ashton. Where's my kitty? I thought they were sleeping. I fed them some treats, so I thought they would be sleeping by now. Okay. going to rinse these. Just rinse them in the pot to make my life easier. Now, if I wish to add another vegetable to this, I might give, I think pickled pumpkin. That is delicious. Is waiting carrots and broccoli, cauliflower, and celery, and no problem with me. That's good, Vicky. Okay. I have my cauliflower here, right? I gotta get it on the stove. Don't worry, I'll get you over there and I'll show you how I do my cauliflower. Because remember, my whole thing is to get as much nutrition out of everything that I cook and how I cook. Come on, like, this whole box of matches is giving me problems. Okay. You don't mind standing on the cauliflower, I'm sure, because I have not cleaned the counter yet. What I am going to do is not enough. I am actually going to only put this much water in it. We're talking like 1/4 of an inch. We're going to steam this. Most vegetables can be steamed you don't need a steamer to do this. You can just put in. Yeah. Bring this to a boil. All right, so I've got 1/4 of an inch of water in this, cold water. I'm going to put the lid on and bring it to a boil. Now, if you leave it at a boil, it's going to burn. But as soon as it comes to a boil, what you're going to do is turn it down to simmer. And then it's so hot in there that simmering is going to keep a steam going, and it's going to steam so you don't cook those vegetable nutrients out. And the little bit of water that you have, if there's any nutrients in it, you can stick it in a jar, put it in the refrigerator. You can use it for anything that you want to bring more flavor out. I save my potato water, and I'll sit there and I use that for my bread. Not the sourdough, for the other breads I make with regular yeast. Thank you, Isaiah. I remember Mr. Rogers, sir. I know Captain Kangaroo, and he used to tell us to always say please and thank you. Always be respectful. He taught us a lot of things. I think that was my first schooling, was listening please and thank you. He taught us all the things we were supposed to do as children. So as you can see, I grew up at a time when bad-mouthing people was not accepted. And we would be hit, and we would be, you could say, beaten for it, really. I had many a whipping, so I know. So all these young people that are cursing their parents and stuff, I can't wait till they have children and the children treat them like that, and they're going to see what it feels like, because they always say what comes around goes around. So I will be respectful, but I don't have to follow anybody, you know, by what they tell me. I still have to make decisions for myself. Now, my husband and I made decisions together. He was the final say in it, but he would listen to my decisions and then decide, you know, yay or nay, if he was going to take my idea or his. I don't think that I am a perfect female. I am far from it. It's just I have time in now, and it seems Actually, as you get older, you seem to step out of the karma realm more. There's not as much. You have more reflection on life. When you're young, you're walking into all the karma and stuff you have to learn. And the decisions that you make will decide what happens to you in your next life. Have I made mistakes? Yeah, I have. I've made some doozies. But, you know, I understand that. But I also know that people will blame other people for their actions. You can't blame anybody for your actions or what you do. If somebody's irritating you, walk away. And when you think about it, because I have time, I think about it. Christ was right. Okay, it's boiling. Now I'm going to turn it down and let it steam until they are done. Hi, Angel. Or Angela. Remember, I don't say the whole thing because all these words are crammed together. Okay. Like this guy is talking about stuff for inflammation and stuff. Everything that you're hearing about nutrition, yes, Vicki, that's true. Every action, there's always an opposite and equal. Even in karma, spiritually, mentally, physically, there is always. But I heard this guy, and he's talking, and I said, you know, you get a little bit of what the ARE did, and you put your own twist on it. And I always tell people, you could be missing one nutrient, and you get the others, right? But because you're missing that one, it's going to give a chain reaction to others. And what works for one person doesn't work for another. So I figured the best way to cover it is make sure you get everything. And then you have everything, then you can't really feel so bad and everything else. Because if you're missing, let's say, to give you a good idea how nutrition works. And this is what I hate. These people get one little thing and they say, I found, no, you didn't find. You read the bloody ARE, okay? I know what you're doing. A lot of those readings and stuff, and they change it around to give it the look that they want. I'm cleaning your feet right now, you must know. We have an alphabet, right? A, B, C, all the way to Z. It opens up all the words that we know that we can use, correct? Yeah, Maggie, I could see that. So when you sit there, we're talking nutrition now. You can know the alphabet. You spell every word that's in our alphabet, right? Let's take the letter I out. How many words is it going to mess up? Think about it. So you go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, zip, down to Z. All right, so that messes up a whole bunch of words. Let's take the letter P out. All right, it messes everything up. You can't flow the whole alphabet. You can't make all the words that we have in our dictionary or anything else because you're missing this. Now, look at nutrition like that. You have A, you have your B's, you have your C's, D's, E's, etc., amino acids and all. If you don't get one, you pull it. All right, let's say you take the letter E, D-alpha-ketopherol out, pull it out. Boom. There's a chain reaction. You go A, B, C, D, you're going to stumble, you see? So that means the rest of the things are not working. The same way as if you pull the E, how is it going to affect? So you sit there and pull the letter P, it's going to affect. So this is how the nutritional world works in our body. When you give it everything it needs, everything flows, just like your alphabet. But if you're missing something, and it goes over a long period of time, like we take the I out. So how would you say LKI, LKE? Okay, how would you say UY? Because the P's are missing. You see, the same thing happens with the nutrition. So if you're missing something in your diet, it's going to affect the other stuff because they all work together as a unit. So this is why you constantly see me, I haven't, powdered milk is so expensive now, but I do use powdered milk and I will add it extra. I have to be careful when you make cakes because it'll burn. I found out the hard way. You'll see me use wheat germ or add a little bit of wheat flour. I use an all blend that I make up myself to make sure I get all the acids and stuff. This is how nutrition works. All you have to do is look at that alphabet, pull a letter, and see how it affects how many words. Well, just think what it does when you don't get that nutrient. Now, you could have all the nutrients, right? You could have it all written up on the board for the children, and they just look at them. They see them, they mean absolutely nothing to them. All right? The same thing happens when you sit there and you eat all this healthy food, but your insides are so packed and you're constipated and your system's dirty. Your body's not going to be able to absorb those nutrients. Just like the children, they see those things, but they mean nothing because nobody tells them what they are. You know? So your body says, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. And yet the colon and the intestines are filthy with the chemicals and stuff that man is putting in our foods and stuff, are missing nutrients that we need. And then when we eat, the body is still hungry, but it's not getting what it needs. The same thing is that the alphabet sitting up there, but nobody tells them what the children are. So the children, as far as they're concerned, oh, that's just a poster, nothing more. And if you don't believe me, Elvis Presley, rock and roll. He had 50 pounds of bowel movements in his system. Cauliflower is done. If he had money, he could have eaten well, you see. Thank you for it, Gianna. So you think about this. That's why I say we don't know a lot about nutrition. We don't know how the whole body works. But if you see a cell, you can see how intricate it is. And just think of how many cells you have in your body. Just think of that. And you got each one of those individually, and they are very complicated. They don't even know everything the cell does, how it does, if it's missing something or not. Just imagine what your body goes through. So as you age, you'll see things happening to you. You end up with aches and pains, but you learn to live with just a little. So what's an aspirin? If you knew what aspirin could do to the human body, you'd be terrified of taking it. So you have a blood clot. Oh, there you are, Taffy. You must have been sleeping in the chair. So you have blood clots. They give you Coumadin. You ought to see what Coumadin and those blood thinners do. But if we had the nutrition in our food, the lecithin, which is made up of 2 B vitamins, would clear it up. But the thing is, you got to take all the B vitamins together to make sure it works. People don't like liver. Yet the liver is the only organ that can repair itself. And if it repairs itself, it can repair the rest of the body, but nobody eats liver. But you watch animals, that's the one organ they always fight for. They seem to know something we don't. But anyway, that's how nutrition works. Think about it. When you sit down and eat, you sit there and say, you know why you say prayers? Not only did the animal die for you, also the vegetable's life has ended, that also when you eat it, you get what your body needs. And that's why you pray it and bless it, because you don't know. And you hope that when you put it down into your tummy, that your body is healthy enough, they can break that food down, get it into your system, and keep your health going. I like that yellow too. Knee. Phil. Why would you think of a jail cell? Oh, well, never mind. So listen, I'm going to let all of you go now. That's it. You know what we're having today. I'm just going to grate our cheese and finish cleaning up my mess from this morning. No, sweet, I was actually more withdrawn. I wasn't very popular in school. My mother was Italian. Remember, World War II had ended. Korea was going on. And in the South, they were still upset with Italians. Though I was proud to be part Italian, they didn't. So my mother wasn't, so I was sort of isolated. I wasn't one of the hip girls. I wasn't one of the young ladies that sat there and dated first. I wasn't anything like that. And a lot of the females isolated me a lot. They were very quick because they said you had a childlike quality that they didn't like. They said you got to be more like a woman. And I feel that we should be children, even in old age, be able to play and have a good time. Thank you. Uh, no, I went for cheerleading, and other girls isolated me and didn't want to work with me. And so I put my baton away, and that was it. That's how it was. I only had a few girlfriends. My first one was Kathy. My second one was Linda, and my long-standing one is Debbie. She works at, I think, A&M in Texas, the college. She's a student there. I think she teaches music. She was always into that. Well, they surveyed it in 1845, and it was already built. And I have acorn fireplaces, and those give the history of how old this house is. But I've been more quiet. I've been more of a homebody, if you really want to know. Even as a model, I was very careful that I was more introvert. Well, you had to learn to do that. I mean, standing there, you know, the only place they couldn't grab you was in your side, so you went inside of yourself. But no, I wasn't very popular with people. Most of my life, I wasn't. But it's not a sad thing. I can name every boy that I ever dated. I know my first fiance, we broke up. Uh, then I didn't really, I found, actually, you must know, I found dating a chore. I thought it was going to be fun. They said you could go bowling, you go to the movies, go dancing. No, it was always to the movies, and I had to hit them to keep their hands off of me. So it just came to the point that it was like, if I have to go on a date, it's a fight. You know, I just didn't like that. So I just learned, no, no, thank you. My mother was the one who pushed me into dating. I wasn't looking forward to it. I knew who I was going to marry. I knew the two men who were going to walk into my life. I didn't want to date. I wanted to find them and then date. But no, my mother said you had to. Yeah, my mother. Well, you have to. You have to date and find somebody. And I tried to. I already know who I'm going to. I remember his face from the other side, the other world. You know, so it was. I was in this conflict. So my mother said, "You're dating." That was it. So I was dating. But it was a fight, and that's how I look at it. Yeah, I'd rather, if I see somebody, so I don't date. Matter of fact, I told my husband that I don't date. But I didn't like dating. And people said, well, if you don't date, you don't get to know them. I said, there's a way, you just have to figure it out. And then after my husband died, I got a boyfriend. And I told him point blank, he tried to say, go to bars and meet people. I said, no, I don't go to bars. Ladies don't go to bars. He said, well, you have to meet people to date people. I said, why do I have to date people when I know who I want? He said, to get to know people, date different people and then find the person. I said, look, I already know who I'm going to be with. Don't argue with me. He didn't know he was it. So I just looked at him and said, no. And he said, please go to the bar, Sandy, and find some men and date. you know, your husband's dead now, move on. And I said, no. I told him no. I said, I told you, I don't go to bars. Ladies don't go to bars. They're escorted only if they have to be, and they sit quietly. Thank you, Phil. 777. You got retracted? Okay. Hmm? That little kitty over there is Taffy, his older brother. If I could, his older brother comes later down in the afternoon, but he comes down with his question mark tail, almost like dancing, going, yes, it really was. This one, he looks at me. And I said, don't you yell at me. You yell at me, I'm going to whip you. See, here he comes. Don't I know him? I am doing well, lemon, lime. Super, who's that behind you? So this is who's behind you. Come here. They want to see you. No, you're not running. No. They want to see you here. This is the baby of the two cats. His older brother's sleeping right now. I know you're looking for food, aren't you? It's on the table. Okay, so listen, I want all of you. Okay, Vicki. So listen, I'm going to go. It's 9:21 now. Let me clean my mess up. No more questions. I want you to enjoy your day. Am I cooking some more today? No, the only thing I'm going to do is make myself some breadcrumbs because I do need breadcrumbs because I have a recipe that I want to make and I need it. Okay? So listen, take care and enjoy your day to the fullest. Bye-bye.